1. CentralPark. Reflections of the property development process from Fraser's development to the Department of Planning. Part 1. Site Facts and Timeline. 1 CentralPark is a state-significant mixed-use development of the old Carlton United Brewery site. The land is a consolidation of 58,000 square metres, located within the government area of the Council of Sydney. The early planning process took 4 years between April 2003 to July 2007, beginning with the CBD site closure of the Kent Brewery site and the Australand's holdings over the property, ending with the development application considered approval under Part 3A of the EP&A Act 1979. Scope of presentation. This is limited to the preliminary planning process between 2003 and 2007. The first issue: delays between the developer, Council of Sydney, Central Sydney Planning Committee and New South Wales Heritage Council. The developer had negotiated with all three authorities over multiple approvals under a numerous number of planning instruments. These including the old LEP DCP 2005, Heritage Community Management Plan, Environmental Assessment and others. This was a lengthy process, bottlenecked with back and forth delays, resulting in the failure of the first conditional agreement of the sale between CUB and Australand. From the perspective of the developer, the delays led to a loss of trust in the ability of the consent authority to successfully deliver its objectives through the planning process. From a development standpoint, the uncertainty also highlighted project risks for both parties, vendor and site purchaser, in the breach of contract of sale and the future viability of the project. Issue number 2, stakeholder collaboration. The breakdown in the planning process was a result in the Council of Sydney, Central Sydney Planning Committee and New South Wales Heritage Council not communicating over a dispute in the Heritage Community Management Plan. The developer had requested the Council of Sydney to be brought into the planning process as a stakeholder to address issues. They were sidelined from the process in September 2005 when the Council released the draft LEP and DCP without prior review of planning controls. Issue number 3, conflicting administrative directives. The CSPC consists of 7 members, the Lord Mayor, 2 councillors and 4 advisors selected by the Minister to oversee projects over $50 million. The CSPC did not reply to the Council of Sydney in regards to development contributions, clarifying this information, and this contributed in part to additional delays on behalf of the City of Sydney. The Planning Minister nominated the site's developer as a potential source of funding for the Redfern-Waterloo Authority, which amounted to $30 million. However, the City of Sydney did not publish the developer contribution amount in the draft 2005 LEP. This created a great deal of uncertainty. Part 3. Key reflections of the planning process. Issue 1. The Minister through the CSPC had indirect control of the development. The CSPC was influenced by the staffing of 4 state government members. The Minister could have intervened earlier by encouraging the CSPC to speed up the process or to advise the developer to lodge an application under Part 3A. Issue number 2. Communication between government bodies. The COS and the Lord Mayor of Sydney had made numerous attempts at addressing developer questions, but were not provided adequate feedback from the CSPC, as they operated under CSPC directives. This caused a number of delays in clarifying decisions. Issue 3. Initial planning control designs. The height limit was 15 stories and an FSR of 5.1. This design constraint was detrimental and would have most likely resulted in a similar height tower-based building, which reflected a poor urban design choice for such a gateway site. If planning controls were developed better in line with the city vision, the design would have aligned with the desired outcome. Recommendations to the Department of Planning. Number 1. Simplify the planning process for state-significant sites by clear criteria of what site can apply for direct consent through the Department of Planning. Number 2. Performance-based planning in the preliminary planning process with clear state objectives and design controls. Number 3. Collaborative process with all stakeholders, primarily between the developer and the state, in addressing concerns from other stakeholders. The Department of Planning should be a one-stop shop that negotiates with other authorities instead of the developer. Number 4. Provide certainty to development projects through achievable timelines and cut-off dates for appeal. Number 5. Increase the requirements for stakeholders who disagree with the development to lodge appeals or hinder the development process. Conclusions and future outlook. Despite running into earlier bottlenecks in the early planning process between 2003 and 2007, the project has been a success, winning numerous design awards and a showcase model for building a sustainable Sydney in line with Sydney 2030 vision. Construction continues on remaining blocks, and this project is a collaborative success between New South Wales Government and Fraser's Property. We thank the New South Wales Department of Planning and look forward to the planning processes for future state significant sites in adopting lessons learned from developing One Central Park. Thank you for watching this video on One Central Park, developer reflections of the planning process between Fraser's Property and the New South Wales Department of Planning.